Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video, guys, I'm going to be giving information on how to obtain employment in Kuwait, as well as other beneficial information regarding Kuwait in general. I've had so many people asking me questions in my YouTube comments, as well as my on my Instagram page regarding Kuwait. As most of you know, I have been back in the States now going on a year in January, if I'm not mistaken. Wow, time flies. But I was in Kuwait for about 8 years, so I think I know, I think I can give a little bit of beneficial information to someone who needs it. I want to go ahead and start off with employment. That seems to be the question that a lot of people have now. I'm going to be giving this information from my experience and from my perspective. Someone else may have had a different experience, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the employment. Now, what I will say to you is that this information is going to be geared towards the education field in Kuwait. I know a lot of other fields are similar when it comes down to finding the job and, receiving a job offer. So I will gear it more towards the education field because that's my forte, if you will. You know what I mean? So yeah, so here's what you need to do first. If you are looking to obtain employment in the education field, there are many websites that you can go to see if those schools are hiring, or you can actually go to each specific school's website. You will find a lot of information on there if they're hiring for this year or if they're hiring for next year. One thing I'd like to bring up as well is that I was an overseas hire. So an overseas hire in most of the companies there would be different for someone who was being hired locally in Kuwait. The benefits are a bit better, the salary's a bit better. It all depends, again, on which field that you are going to be working in. So, like I said, you're going to go to find the school websites, and you are able to go on and see whether or not they're hiring. And even if they're not, if it doesn't have it posted on their website, you can go ahead and submit your resume anyway with your intent to find employment with that particular establishment. Once you go ahead and you send in your resume, you're looking for a position, you're going to have job offers. There are going to be people that are contacting you. Now, please keep in mind, we have COVID going on all around the world right now. So I'm not sure, what the hiring process is right now, or even if schools are hiring at this point, because I do know a lot of schools are doing online teaching. So please keep that in mind. You're going to have establishments that are going to be contacting you if they're interested in your CV or your resume, and they're probably going to give you a job offer, okay? Now, you are able to look at that offer, read through all of the fine print, the large print, read through exactly what the offer has in it for you. Now, you can negotiate the offer. If there's something in there that you would prefer to have, or something in there that you really don't agree with, you can negotiate that. And majority of the time, the place of employment, the establishment, will go ahead and work with you on that. Once you have accepted an offer from a school, they will go ahead and send you what's called a contract. I was an overseas hire. There were particular things that I needed. One, because I was traveling with my family. So, I needed accommodation. I needed things to help me with that. And also, if you're overseas hire, the establishment will also provide airfare for you, and majority of the time your family as well, which is awesome, to and from Kuwait. And once you receive a contract, you read it over. If you're both in agreement, if there's not anything that you need to change, then you will, contact them again and let them know that you agree with it. And then the next step will be for the school or the establishment to then send you an NOC. All right, the school is going to send you an NOC. It's NOC, and what that is, it's going to be more or less a work permit for you to be able to travel to Kuwait, and to let the government know as well that you are traveling there for the purpose of employment. With this NOC, which is more or less a work visa, you will be taking the NOC to the Kuwait embassy in the country that you're living in, and then from there they will put a, I want to say, a residency stamp in your passport. And with this, you'll be able to travel into Kuwait, and then from there the proper documentations will be processed for you to get residency to live in Kuwait. Keep in mind, upon waiting for the NOC, which is the more or less the work permit, you want to make sure that you have all of your documentation together, ready to go. Be sure that you're ready for a background check. A lot of places will ask for either a criminal background check, they may check your work references, so just keep that in mind and be ready for that as well. You will be required to have your educational documents attested, which that's going to be from either the state you live in. If you live in the United States, that's going to be the state that you live in, and also you're going to have them sent to State Department in Washington, D.C. And again, that's if you live in the States. Now, if you're in another country, I'm sure the process is somewhat the same. I'm just not sure. I'm not familiar with what the places are called that you will have to send all of your documents to have them basically authenticated. You know, they're gonna have stamps on them. It's just gonna say, yes, this document is valid, and yes, it belongs to this person. So that's basically what it is. In saying that, I was lucky enough back in the time that I did all of this process, which was back in 2012, I believe. I was in touch with some teachers in other states that were also in the same process as me, and they were also getting their documents together. So we kind of guided each other, which was really nice, and how the process goes, what we needed to do next, what we're missing, because it can be a little bit, it can get a little hectic, I would say, just because you're not really familiar with the process. One of the important tips that I want to give you is when you are traveling or relocating to any other country, you want to make sure that you have all of your affairs at home in order. So by that, for me, I can say, like I said, I was with my family and we moved out of the house that we were renting. We sold everything. We sold the vehicle. Like, you know, it's a big deal. Now, I do know a lot of people that I've worked with, co-workers, who either lived with family, you know, and they just kind of left everything as is, and then, you know, came to Kuwait for 1 or 2 years to save up money or to travel to different parts of the world, and then, you know, returned once they were done. But in my case, I knew that I would be there for just a little bit. So make sure you have all of your affairs at home taken care of, because it's hard to come back and forth. Again, this is from a 14, anywhere from a 14 to a 27 to 30 hour flight. So it's not like, you know, it's not easy to come back and forth. So just keep that in mind. All right, so once you have accepted your job offer, you have all of your documents ready to go, you have your work visa and your passport, you're ready to go, the company will then send you either a ticket or they will send you airfare, which is money for you to then buy your ticket. And you can, you know, speak to them on when you need to be there or when they need you there. Me, myself, with my family, we went earlier just because we wanted to get established and ready to go, you know, when it was time for me to start back working. And again, I'm in the educational field, so we go back to work in September. So we went probably the first week of August, I would say. So, you know, it gave us a little bit of time, like I said, to establish ourselves and learn a little bit about Kuwait, because I did not live in Kuwait before this. I did not live in Kuwait before I went, but I did live in United Arab Emirates for a little while. So I was you know, I already knew what to expect. You've arrived to Kuwait, you're settling in, and you start working with your place of employment. They will then, in the first couple of weeks, you will go with someone from your place of employment. The person is called a mandub, and they will take you to the government places that you need to go to fill out documentation for your residency, to have your health checks done, all of the same things that we require here in the States as well. So you will have someone walk you through that process once you get there, okay? Now I want to go ahead and touch on some of the other questions that I have, and I have a little cheat sheet here. I've had people asking me if it is safe living in Kuwait, and you know, some people are asking in regards to women, is it safe for women living in Kuwait? You have a lot of females that go and leave their home to go ahead and work in Kuwait, and as well as different countries. Kuwait, I can tell you, is safe. The only thing that is a little bit crazy for me was the driving, and I've made a video about that. But you know what? You have crazy driving everywhere. I came back to the States and I was like, okay, they drive just as crazy here. I've had a lot of people also ask me about obtaining a driver's license. So once you are in Kuwait and you're established and you have your residency, because you do have to have the residency to get a driver's license, you will then be able to get your driver's license through your job. They will be able to assist you with that as well. And as in any place, we have Department of Motor Vehicles here in the States. Oh, at least in Virginia where I live at. I know in some other states it's called something else, but it's the same. You go to the driving department in Kuwait and you take your documentation. I do know that if you have a driver's license from specific countries, you are able to just kind of change them over. If you don't have driver's license already from certain specific countries, you will have to take a driving test, which is super easy. All right, one of the videos that I've also made on my channel is regarding buying a vehicle. Now, buying a vehicle in Kuwait for me is easier than buying a vehicle here in the States. Cars are less expensive than they are here in the States. Insurance is less expensive. Gas is less expensive, so that is a big plus, and that's something I miss, by the way. You know, there are things that are a lot easier in Kuwait than they are here in the States, so the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I'll say that. Most employers will offer housing to their employees, whether it's a villa or an apartment. And if they don't offer that, a lot of times they will give you housing allowance, which you're able to go and find your own place to live. You don't have to live in the accommodations for your company. So that is something also to keep in mind. I did work in the accommodations that my school provided, and it was fine, to be honest with you. I know the first accommodation they did provide for us was not in the nicest area, to be honest with you, but it wasn't a big deal at all. It was safe, and most of all, you know, like I said, the company pays for that. Now, they do offer housing allowance where you're able to, the school will provide you with a certain amount of money a month, and then you're able to go find your own place to live. Now, keep in mind, I want to bring this up as well. Keep in mind, if you are traveling over with a significant other, that's not a spouse, you want to take caution if you're trying to live with someone, because it's really not accepted in Kuwait. A lot of places will not even rent to you unless that significant other is your spouse, your husband or your wife. So that's something also to keep in mind. I've also had some questions from people regarding other fields of employment in Kuwait, like healthcare, banking, and all of that. I can't really speak about that because I don't have experience as far as that goes, but I can tell you that most employers are the same, and the rules are the same wherever you go, whichever place you choose to work with. So there are laws and requirements that employers have to abide by, And please, before you go to Kuwait, let me just bring this up. Before you go, please look into where you're going to live, even if it's not in Kuwait. Read about their laws, read about, you know, do a little bit of research for yourself so you don't go blinded and then you're surprised by things that you didn't know about. Of course, you're not going to know everything firsthand, but you can kind of get a heads up and an idea. One of the good things that we did have when I went over to Kuwait and worked for a specific company, there were some blogs that some of the teachers had made. There were a group of teachers that put together kind of like a care package for new teachers that were coming in to give them a heads up on things to expect, and which was very, very helpful as well. Hey guys, I think that's it for now. I don't want to make this video super long. If you have any other questions or other topics that you want me to cover, I can make other videos about it. I know there's a few things in my mind that I want to make videos about regarding Kuwait, and I will be working on those here soon and upload those to my channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like my content. And if you have any questions or video requests that you'd like to see me do, please go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. Guys, don't forget to follow me over on my Instagram page, A Day with Mel. And yeah, I think that's it for now. Take care of yourselves. Please be cautious with this COVID virus. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.